Hi, my name is Carly Tepke. I am the Assistant Director of the Graduate International Programs here at Texas Law in the beautiful and sunny Austin, Texas. Our programs work with international students and local students, both exchange and LLM. So we have a wide variety of students that we work with and applications that we see. Today's admission talk is going to focus on how to write a personal statement for law school. So there are a lot of different application materials, as you will know, when you are applying for law school in the US. And your job as the applicant is to stand out from the crowd and really make the admissions team, pick your application over the other students and see your strengths and see what you will bring to their program. So here's a list of the typical application documents that you will have to submit when applying for your LLM degree. There's the application itself, your transcripts of your grades, your English score if you are a non-native English speaker, your letters of recommendation, your resume or CV, and your personal statement. So today we're really going to focus on how, out of all of these, it is your goal to differentiate yourself from the other applicants. But today we're really going to focus on the personal statement and how to show the admissions committee who you are and what strengths and perspective you can bring to their LLM program. I'll give you a few overall tips. We'll go through these. Number one, in your personal statement, you want to highlight your strengths. There's a lot of information that you will include, including some of your background, how you went to law school, why you went to law school, and now why you want an LLM degree. But within that, make sure that you are highlighting your strengths and what you can bring to the program, what experience, be it in your law school, maybe you were the coach of a moot team, or in your law firm, maybe you were the head of a really difficult deal. These types of things highlight to the admissions committee your strengths and what you can bring to the program. On the other end, if there is a weakness, for example, if you did poorly in a class and you got a low grade, don't try to hide that. Instead, talk about it. Tell the admissions committee maybe what was going on that semester. Were you struggling with something personally that you want to tell them about, and that is why you might have done a little bit more poor in your grades that semester? But be honest about it and be clear, because if you have something that is maybe does not feel like a strength, you don't want to try to hide it. Instead, bring it to the forefront and discuss it. In your personal statement, make sure to be professional. You want to use proper grammar, don't use slang, use a typical structure that you would use in other professional writing. And this is the first impression that the admissions committee is going to have of your writing. And as a student, you will be doing a lot of writing. So you want to really highlight how strong of a writer you might be. As part of that, make sure that you are proofreading carefully. Typos are very evident when you only have a 1 or 2 page personal statement. If it is filled with typos, it makes you look like you are careless. And the admissions committee will not want to invite a careless lawyer to come and be one of their students. So make sure that you are proofreading, and it might even help to have a native English speaker proofread it for you. They will be your ideas, but have someone to make sure that everything flows right, for example. Do not assume that every law school wants the same thing. You need to do your research, and you need to find out what that law school is asking. Certain law schools will ask you specific questions, and you need to answer those in your personal statement. Other law schools will allow you to decide how you want to write and what you want to write about. But make sure that you are following instructions. There might be different page limits or word count limits. So you need to make sure that you are following these instructions, because that looks really bad to an admissions committee if in the very first time they get to know you in the application that you are not following instructions. Also, be original. It is your story to tell, so do not go online and find a template or copy paste from someone else. It is your story, so tell it. Tell the admissions committee who you are and how a degree from their university will help you reach your next steps. My big advice when people ask is what the structure should be. Again, that is up to you, but what I like to see is some background about the person, where they came from, where their legal experience, what that is, and where they want to go, what comes next, and how does the LLM degree get them there. The LLM degree is a vehicle to get you to your next step, to help you reach your goals. So it's important to talk about that and be specific. How does an LLM degree from the one school you're applying to help you get there? If you are applying to many schools, you will need multiple personal statements, because how you apply to one school might not be the same way you apply to another school, because every school is unique and has different strengths in itself. So how are you going to complement or benefit the strengths of the law school? So you want to, with the personal statement, you want to show who you are, how you write, where you come from professionally, and where you want to go. Absolutely follow all the directions, if be they format, different questions or requirements. So this is going to take a lot of research on your part. What I recommend is creating a spreadsheet and including all of the schools you want to apply to. And in each column, maybe one school requires a certain TOEFL test score. So you can include that, and then, the different questions that they might be asking on your personal statement, include that in a column to really help to make sure that you are following the directions for each and every school. Generally, in your personal statement, you're going to include your background, your goals, and your reasons for applying to that program specifically. We've mentioned this, but I really want to let you know that a general kind of vague personal statement sent to 20 law schools will not be as impactful as one that really focuses in on the reasons for you applying to that school specifically. Look at the classes offered, look at the specializations, look at the concentrations, look at what alumni are doing afterwards. Are you seeing a lot of alumni graduating from one particular school in your field of law? If so, that might be something to bring up, that you can see that there are so many alumni that you want to follow in their footsteps, and you feel that that's a great connection between you and that program specifically. A few do's and don'ts. So make sure that when you are writing your personal statement, you are highlighting your accomplishments and explaining any gaps or problems with your application. Like I mentioned, if you had a bad grade in a class, what was the reason behind that? Or if you had a year or two missing of your work experience, why? Why is there a gap in your resume? You can explain that in your personal statement. Demonstrate why you would be a good fit for that program, for that specific law school. And this is where your research comes in, when you are talking about how you fit the law school and how the law school fits you and will help you get to your next stage. Show the admissions committee how you would contribute to the law school community. What does your background, professional, personal, academic, what does your background bring to the class? How will you enrich the LLM cohort of that university? Explain any special life lessons that you might have come across. This could be in early life, it could be in later life, but what special lessons have helped you become you and bring you to where you are now. You can also illustrate how you overcame a difficult situation and how an LLM will help you do something like that in the future. Show any sort of connection between your goals and what the law school can offer. So, for example, if you have a passion for human rights and you want some practical experience in human rights, look for a law school that offers LLMs the opportunity to take a human rights clinic, because that's a really great hands-on practical experience of applying the theory to life. You want to be clear, structured, and have flow in your personal statement. So all the rules of writing are required here. So making sure there's transitions, making sure that there's no typos, making sure that even the margins are the right size, and that you have the proper font. Don't use Comic Sans, for example. I love Comic Sans, but there's a time and a place to use that type of font. Do not just repeat or summarize your resume. Your resume is a separate piece of your application, and the admissions committee will read that. What you need to do with your personal statement is expand on that and talk about the stories, any sort of anecdotes about your resume. Like, how can you push and open up your resume, basically? So deep dive into it. Don't just write an autobiography from birth until today. I have seen that before. I have read hundreds and hundreds of personal statements, and I have read autobiographies. So admissions committees, they are interested in you as a person, but it's also about your professional and your academic goals. So make sure that you really kind of focus in on connecting those things. Do not use a template or an agent to write your personal statement. This is something else I have seen over and over again. It feels like a copy paste of a personal statement between one applicant and the next. Your personal statement needs to be personal to you. You need to talk basically directly to the admissions committee. So don't use a template or an agent, meaning someone else, to write your personal statement. Do not go over the word count. If the admissions committee gives a word count, stop. That is it. So you might have to edit down a personal statement. Maybe one school allows 1,000 words, another school allows only 800. So make sure that you have a personal statement for each school that fits their criteria. Do not send your personal statement to the wrong school. I have seen this also. I will say that all of the don'ts are on here because they are things that I have seen personally reading personal statements. So if someone says or sends a personal statement that says, I really want to go to school X. School X is my dream school, but I'm not school X. I work for school Y. How does that make me feel? Well, it makes me feel like, one, they're careless and they're sending this same personal statement to every school. So what does that mean for them? That means they have not done their research. They have not taken the time to do research and make sure that there aren't typos like that. So be careful. Do not try to make something out of nothing. What I mean by this is, if there is an experience, if you're trying to find an experience, maybe why you decided to become a lawyer, be honest about it. You don't need to make up a far-fetched reason that a great uncle, half removed, their stepbrother had a legal issue and that made you want to be a lawyer. Maybe it did, but we have read lots and lots of personal statements where it feels very far-fetched, very far removed from the actual story. So it could be something like my story. I read a lot of John Grisham books growing up, and I wanted to be a lawyer because of that. It really inspired me to be a lawyer. Now, of course, I would need to elaborate on that, and I did have family with legal problems, but I was not involved in that at all. So I would not talk about that on a personal statement. Your personal statement is about you. Why do you want to be a lawyer? What do you want to do with your law degree? But more specifically, why do you want an LLM from my school or any school that you are applying to? Be careful also not to use repetitious or unnecessary words. Legal writing should come to the point. Just be careful to be really clear in your writing. Being very repetitious and using extra words makes your reading more difficult to read. And you do not want the admissions committee to struggle to read your personal statement. So, I won't focus too much on our program specifically, but I will give some examples. Because if I, for example, was writing a personal statement and I'm really interested in energy law, for example. If I was writing a personal statement and I wanted the admissions committee to know how interested I was in energy law, I would start off by talking about any experience I might have in energy law. And if I don't have any, talk about why I want to get experience in energy law. Like, why do I want that specialization? I would look at the law school and look through their different clinics and law journals and student organizations to see if any of those things were connected to energy and how those would help me grow my passion in energy law. So at Texas Law, for example, we have a journal of oil, gas, and energy law. We have an international law journal, and we have an environmental law journal. So I would talk about those in my personal statement. Clinics, I would talk about that I wanted to get involved in the environmental law clinic. In the student organizations, maybe there's some that I could be connected to that way as well. So I'm showing the admissions committee how I would be involved as a student, what I would be able to participate in and contribute to the school. And looking at how schools are ranked, of course that's important for some people, so you can talk about that as well. You can talk about what that school is known for. So I see here that their environmental law is and international law, there's some of the specialties from Texas Law, and so I would wrap that into my conversation as well. So you can see here, even just I have an interest in energy, and I'm pulling the thread, the connection through all of the things that the law school can offer, and then I'm going to talk about what I want to do next. So I can talk about my interest or passion or experience in energy law, how all of those things at Texas Law can help me grow those, and what happens next. Do I want to take the bar exam and become an energy lawyer in Houston? Maybe. Do I want to go practice environmental law in Washington? Maybe. But anyways, you can see here there's a real clear kind of connection between my profile and the profile of the law school. And that's what you want to get across to admissions committees, that you have this connection, that you want to further your connection, you want to build upon your skills, build upon your passion, make connections, especially when a school is interdisciplinary. That's something you can talk about. Here at Texas Law, students can take classes at the School of Public Policy or at the business school. So if you are looking for a really kind of interdisciplinary LLM degree, look and see if the schools you are applying to allow you to do that, allow you to take classes outside the law school and really kind of create your own really flexible but really tailored LLM program. So there's a lot of different ways to go about writing your personal statement, and different law schools require different formats, to have different requirements in the personal statement. So make sure that you do reach out to your the law schools you are applying to. If you can't find the information on the website, on each of their websites, make sure you reach out to the admissions coordinator or the director of admissions, whoever that might be, and ask. We're all very friendly. We love our jobs. We love working with students. So make sure that you are you're getting in contact with them. There might even be online resources. Look at YouTube. I know a lot of law schools have tips on how to write personal statements, how to apply, things like that. So do your research and make sure that you're taking full advantage of all the opportunities to stand out in your application. You only have so many, you have one time to make a first impression. That's what they say, right? So the application is your first impression to the admissions committee. So it's important to make it a strong first impression and to stand out from the crowd. So thank you. Please feel free to contact me should you have any other questions. I am happy to talk to prospective students, and I look forward to chatting with you all. Thank you.